yourself?
Hi.
Girl, what's up? Okay, so tell us who you are, where you're from, your story, all that stuff before we get into the good tips.
Okay, so I'm Shannon and I'm from Ohio and I'm a mom to two boys, 9 and 7, and they share a room, okay? So that's one of my main reasons why I joined this business because y'all, they are wild in the same room. And another reason because we were living off food stamps and legit could not pay for food even with food stamps, and our electric bill was getting shut off, our gas bill, like we couldn't pay our bills on time, and it was just like a freaking wreck all the freaking time. And like I just wanted out of it, and I wanted my boys to have like their own room. I want them to have their own yard and just pay off my debt because when I was like 18, like I ruined my credit, so I'm trying to fix that. And so yeah, I just want to better our future and just build our dream home.
Okay, cool. So give us a little of your backstory so far. You just hit Emerald last month, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, tell us a little bit. This year, it was like it's been your year. So,
Yeah.
mm,
So originally I was with this business before, but they were really negative Nancy's. They were not, they kind of just threw me out there and didn't help. So I was like, you know what? It's not my vibe. I gotta go and go search for new. So when my 90 days were up, did a little stalking. So I found Stacy. I used some hashtags. I legit don't even know what I used, but I found Stacy. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I see you. You're cute. Like, let me see. And so I sent her a message, and I was just like, gonna see like how she would answer me, if she was gonna take her time a day to like answer me and not just like throw something out at me.
wait
And
for
she
me.
did. Yeah, so she messaged me, she answered me, and like a couple of days later, I was still watching her, just like creeping up on her. And so I took advantage of myself and um, found her on the Works webpage. And then I messaged her. I'm like, okay, I joined the team. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I joined. She's like, I didn't give you the link. I was like, I know. So it's fine. And then when I first joined, to be honest, I didn't do what I should have been doing because I could have hit Ruby a long time ago. So I really didn't start working until January, but it's fine. But when I started working, the day I went Ruby was the same day my grandma passed away. And like I found out first thing in the morning, and I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm still going to do what I need to do because whether if I pout about it or boss up and still move on, it's not going to do anything. So I bossed up, did what I needed to do, and like 5 hours later, I hit Ruby. I'm like, okay, like I got it. And then next month, which was last month, I was like, okay, I'm hitting Emerald. Like nothing's stopping me. Like legit, nothing's gonna stop me. So I was doing my work, and then in the middle of the month, I kind of got like discouraged because of the coronavirus. So I bought a book off of Audible. I was like, you know what? I need to change. Something needs to lift up my spirit. So I bought this Bible book. I'm like, all right, let's go. So I was cleaning and I was just listening to it. Legit, not even 24 hours later, I signed up 3 distributors. Less than 24 hours, 3 of them. Had no idea. We've never talked before. Don't even know where they came from, but they were like, hey, I want to join the team. I'm like, oh, okay, like, let's do it. Like, you have any questions? They're like, no, like, let's just get to it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then now I'm going to Diamond. I think I'm like 2,000 points away. Like, right off the bat, I'm so close to Diamond, and like, it's mine. Legit.
No, it is. And you, yeah, we talk like every day. She's always updating me and Carly, and you're just so positive, and you're just always out there doing everything.
Yeah.
So give us some tips. Everyone wants to know what you're doing right now. How'd you go Emerald? What are you doing to go Diamond? Give us all the tips.
Okay, so number one, definitely personal development. If you don't have personal development, then you're definitely not going to rank up. Legit, like I just said, when Corona came and smashed my dreams, like I had to build myself up. So, yeah, just personal development. Starting the beginning of the month, we are now doing 5 days a week personal development in the morning with the team. We are journaling together and just writing things like we're thankful for, what our goals are, and we just do it every single day. And then every single day, we have power hours where we work together because that's what we motivate ourselves and we just motivate ourselves. Trying to think, hold on. Host to post are legit my best friend. All my loyal customers. Okay. Host to post are my best friends from loyal customers. All my LCs have came from host to post. But I just grow my network that way, so that just works for me. And my distributors, they've actually came from my personal page, and I get them from my story, or like on my Facebook stories. So if I make a slideshow about what it's done for me and my kids, especially my kids, like just buying like shoes for them or taking them out like one-on-one shopping, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, like I want more info." I'm like, "Girl, yes." Like, and then after I tell them, especially when they got kids, they're like, "Okay, like I want to do this. Like, if this working for you, it's gonna work for me." I'm like, "Girl, yes, it is. Like, you got this." Like this. So that's where they come from. And then voice messaging, I kind of have it narrowed to who I voice message. So if they have like a clean picture, I will voice message them. If they don't have like a clean picture, if it's kind of like dark with a Snapchat filter, they're not gonna get that voice messaging because they really don't message me back when I voice message. So I message them just like texting way because they will respond back that way. And then if I get them that way, then I train them to use voice messaging. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. So
Okay, awesome. And so, like, I think a lot of people they struggle with sharing their stories on Instagram, on social media when they're brand new. And you, from day one, you have been like almost perfect in that, like sharing your story in your own way without being all it works, you know. So give some people who are newer, maybe struggling with sharing their story. I love reading your story. So give us some tips on how you did it from the beginning. Um, yeah. So I think that would be really helpful.
okay, so like nobody wants to share like not having my bills shut off, legit embarrassing. But there's other people out there who are just like me, not that are having their bills shut off, and it's embarrassing. Like nobody wants to talk about it. So if I sit here and I talk about it, but I'm showing them like, oh, look, these weekly bonuses that I'm getting, the monthly checks are helping my husband out with the team. Like it's fine. Like you don't have to be embarrassed. Like we all go through struggles. And so I think just openly talking about it, but being positive about it, um, helps a long way with people. And I just tell them just how it is. I'm very blunt when it comes to my story because I just want to help others.
I think just getting out of your comfort zone because that's what you did, and you do that like every single day. I remember when you
Yeah.
said voice messaging is like something you were so scared of,
Oh
and
God, yes.
are doing it all the time, you know. And I think that's what it's about, you guys. This girl started. She did this business once before, and it, you know, didn't work out because she admitted it. She probably didn't do everything that she should have done. But when she took action and she believed in herself and started personal development and taking the action on the things that she's learning, for example, personal development. Like we all hear it all the time, and she does it without fail every single day. And also voice messaging. Like that is something that you took, you totally took action on that, and you're succeeding in that for sure. And host to post. Give us a little bit. You have like a couple minutes. Give us a little bit of your host to post. Like, what's your favorite? I don't see any questions. If you guys have any questions for her, put them in the chat. But
Okay.
you're bomb at host to post. So give us a little tip.
Yes. So the only host post that I use is Thermophyte X. I used to do, sometimes I'll throw hair, skin, and nails in as well, because those are my two that I use personally. Because for one, I only do host to post of products that I use. I'm not going to do any other ones because most of the time these people are going to ask, like, I get so many, like, oh, do you have personal results for your Thermophyte X? I'm like, girl, yeah, look at this. And like, I've lost 20 pounds with them. I'm like, here you go. I'm like, and then my hair, skin, and nails. Legit chop my hair off for my hair, skin, and nails. So like, so yeah, I just use those two. Sometimes I do coffee, not a lot, but I do put coffee in my stories. But Thermophyte X and Hair, Skin, and Nails are my top two.
and you're so consistent with it. So awesome. Well, I know you're going diamond for sure. We talk all the time. I know you are. Any last words you want to give to anybody? Any tips? Anything at all?
No. Oh, do I do a photo with those products? Like of me holding the product?
Do you do a photo with those product tabs? Do you do a photo?
Oh,
No.
no, I just give them this, like, whatever I want them to post. Sometimes I'll put it on, like, a colored background or anything like that. When I first joined, I did do the pictures, but I feel like I didn't have, like, the interaction I wanted, so I stopped that and just left it plain to give them more curiosity.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Any last words?
No, is that I'm just going diamond. I'm coming with y'all. I'm going to the VIP section, okay?
I know you are, girl. We will see you there.
Okay, remember me.
Okay. Next up we have Kimmy. Kimmy, where are you?
Hey,
Hey, girl. How are you? Okay.
I'm good. How are you? Did you find
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So tell us who you are, where you're from, your story. Give us all that good.
All right. My name is Kimmy, and I am from York, Pennsylvania. I signed up December 31st with Brittany Cabrera. She followed up with me a whole bunch, and it took me a while to sign because I just had my son in August, the end of August, and I was on maternity leave. I had taken postpartum depression hit me a little bit harder than I thought it was going to, and my anxiety. And so I had taken a little bit more time than I expected for maternity leave, and I did not have any paid maternity leave. So I got no pay for 8 weeks, and I did not save my money like I should have because I was working 2 full-time jobs, and I don't know where my money was going, bills, I guess, but I did not save as much as I should have when before my maternity leave. And so when I had my son on August 26th, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go back to work. Like, I have this little perfect baby that I don't want to leave. And I hated my job so much. I worked in 2 different restaurants, and it was just, I wasn't making good money at all. I was basically a janitor for the one restaurant, and it was not fun. So, Brittany followed up with me like, hey, do you want to do this business? You know, she didn't say that, but, you know, she kept messaging me like, hey, how are you doing? She was real with me. And I was like, no, I don't have the money. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have $99 to spend on this. And, you know, she explained to me that it's an investment. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't. And one day she told me, she's like, well, you know, you can charge it to a credit card. And I'm like, girl, I have not been working for 8 weeks, and I literally just spent all this money on my credit cards for Christmas presents because I'm that type of person. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I was sitting at the dinner table with my boyfriend, and I texted her and I'm like, I'm ready because something just hit me that I needed this. And um, I didn't take it as seriously as I wanted to begin with, but I knew that God was telling me something, um, that I needed something more. So that's kind of like why I started, just because, like I said, I hated my job. I didn't want to be sweeping and mopping floors all day long, all the time, and still barely having any money. Um, and now I still do work another full-time job, just because as a lot of other moms might feel, I need to get out of the house sometimes. I'm a preschool teacher, but that isn't as demanding, and I don't have to work as many hours as I did in the restaurant because of this business. And I get to spend almost every single, like, all day with my son, which is really nice.
That's awesome. Okay. So you joined December of 2019.
Yes,
So
December 31st.
awesome. The day before the new year. Wow. So give us
Yep.
a little of your story. I mean, your journey so far.
So, like I said, I started December 31st, and, you know, Brittany had me watch Christy's videos and stuff and all of that. and I watched all the training videos. I don't remember when I really like got the ball rolling, but it was in the very beginning of January when I put my adventure post up, if not the 31st. And I was pretty pumped to do it. I was like, this is simple. You know, it takes work, but I can do this. And I was kicking it pretty good. Like I was doing pretty well for a while. I was a top enroller. I was, you know, enrolling distributors and loyal customers like back to back to back. And then I hit a roadblock. I don't know what it was. At that time, I didn't know what it was. Um, but I realized eventually that it was just me having excuses. And, you know, Brittany had told me that, and I was like, kind of brushed it off my shoulder because I didn't want to hear it, because nobody wants to hear like you're having excuses. Like that's not anything that anyone wants to hear, but it's true. A lot of people do have excuses because, like I said, I work full time, I have a son, but I still have time to do this business. Everybody has time in their day. It's just what you do with that time. So have I missed a little bit of sleep? Yes. Have I, you know, had to miss out on some things? Sure. But I get to spend so much more time with my son. And when I decided to throw those excuses behind, I started doing so much better. When I became intentional with my work and not just messaging people, actually wanting to message them, actually wanting to know how they're doing, actually wanting to help them, everything changed for me.
Yeah, so it's like you started building the relationships and really,
Yeah.
instead of it being about you, it was about everybody else, like who you
Yes.
for sure. I know you just came out of nowhere randomly, like one day, and Brittany's like, "Yeah, she's going to Emerald, she's going Diamond." So I know for sure a lot of it has to do with mindset because you were in a place to hear that you were full of excuses, but you know the truth was that you were. So
Hmm.
you quickly got out of that, and I assume you got onto personal development because I know Brittany just like slays you with it. So
Yes.
okay, so give us some tips though. Like, what do you do to sign distributors? Like, your enrollments are crazy. Like, how many people did you sign last month or last couple months? A lot.
Uh, yeah, I don't even remember. That's probably bad. I should know, but a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us how you did that.
So my main thing now is just building relationships. Today, I message, like, whenever I get a new Facebook request or a new follow on Instagram, I always message them right away. And I say, like, hey, thanks for the follow. I'm like super happy that you're going to be on my journey of like spreading happiness and blah, blah, whatever. Like, you have to make it sound like you. So I made a message that sounds like me and I send it to everybody. And you would be shocked at how many people I get back that's like that reply to me instantly. Like today I had someone message me and was like, well, first she was like, do I know you? And I was like, no, like I have a script for that too. I'm like, no, you don't know me personally, but I found you in this group that we have in common. And I just wanted to, you know, reach out. Thanks for accepting my request. And she was like, wow, I really needed that. Like, you have no idea how many, like, how all of my past days have been so bad. Like, I needed that. And that right there is a potential distributor because she's going to continue to see my posts that I am consistent with, my stories that I'm consistent with, my videos on my stories, which are a huge thing. Brittany always pushes her team to do everything, like do the things. And I think that's so important because when she told me to post these videos on my story, I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I don't ever put my makeup on. I don't ever do my hair. Like, I don't ever like do anything. I just am at home, especially since it's quarantine. And then I was like, well, why do I need my makeup on for my story? Like, I can be real. I can be myself. And so that is another huge tip of mine is to post videos of you talking and talking about the bonuses you're making, the commission pay that you're making, the people that you're signing, constantly telling people, like, I just signed up, you know, this girl for TFX and coffee. I'm so excited to get her started with her weight loss journey or something like that. That shows people, like, oh, okay, she's, you know, she's doing the things that she needs to do. Um, and one other thing that I wanted to say, now I can't remember. Okay, yes, I remembered. Sorry. one of my biggest tips for people, and this is hard for people, obviously everybody joins this business to make money, right? um, but I think it is so, so crucial to be a product of the products. And I say products because I think it's important to at least try more than one product, even if you don't consistently use them. I consistently use the coffees every day, TFX, Confianza, if I'm saying that right, hair, skin, and nails, like all of them, the reds. Like I use so many different products, and because of this business, I have the money to spend on them. So maybe people can't do that right away, but that is a huge tip of mine, because if you're posting that you're using the products, you're going to get people to sign with you because they're going to trust you. And I have people call me. Like I had this lady be like, I don't want to text you. Can I call you? And I was like, sure. And she's like, well, do you use these products? Have you seen results? Like, why should I use them? And I explained it to her. She was like over 100 BV order because I got her to sign up with so many products. So that's one of my biggest tips.
Yes, absolutely. Being loud about what you're doing. A lot of people were saying that. I love that. But using the products, you guys, if you're new, you haven't heard it a lot, but if you're not new, you hear it all the time. Product of the product. I went ambassador because after a year and a half of me losing weight, because I was just so consistent with the journey and the products, and people, they trust you more when they know that you're using them and they see your results. And if you're brand new and you don't have a lot of money to spend on products, guess what, guys? Just get your 6 LPs and you get a $150 shopping spree. So you can absolutely be a product of the product right away. So
Yep, that's exactly what I did.
yeah, exactly. So any last words that you'd like to share with us?
Just, to come to these trainings, to show up, because you will get so many tips. Like I've listened to Christy, give all of her tips, you give all of your tips, so many other people, like Ashley, the other Ashley, like a lot of different people, and I get Brittany tips. And if you come to these, you will find your way so easily, because you're going to find what's right for you. And it's really just about that, finding your schedule, what works best, and getting rid of your excuses. That's my number one thing, because I was full of them. I had so many excuses, and like I said, no one wants to hear that. But once you just take a step back and realize, okay, yes, I do, and you get rid of them and you start doing your self-development, you'll be Ambassador Diamond by then.
Yeah, you're unstoppable at that point, for sure. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's just a matter of when. And I think
Exactly.
caught onto that for sure. Yes. Okay, Christy, how long have you been doing these trainings? It's been like 4 years now, right? Like Monday.
Gosh, it's been like 4.5 years.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like I probably have missed a couple, but Christy's never missed one. These are always here. And what's crazy is we talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's just when you're on them, the right person with the story that you relate to is gonna say it, and that's when it's gonna click. Like that is what she's saying. You gotta be on these. I've been on them since we started doing these, because we did do them when I
Back
first.
in the day. Well, it's funny that you say that, because I just want you guys to know this too. People were talking about host to post for probably 6 to 9 months. And I was like, that's dumb. That's dumb. I'm not going to ask people to post for me. That's dumb. I sign. I don't need that. And it took me probably 3 to 4 different Zooms that I was on of other people's, seeing that people were signing 20 to 30 to 100, not kidding, 100 customers for one person in a month. And finally, I was like, okay, I think I need to do this, and I think we need to do this. So regardless of what the form is that you're growing or that we're teaching or that you hear on here, the goal is to start applying it immediately, because who knows how many customers I could have signed if I would have started doing it the first time I heard it.
Right. I know. So it just depends. You just always got to be on these things for sure. So thank you for saying that, Kimmy. And you just started in December, so I love that. Okay, next up we have Chelsea. Where are you? I don't see your face, but let me know.
And Chelsea, you can unmute yourself. I made it so that you can.
Thank you.
Hey, I still don't see
Hi.
you, but really want to find
I'll
you.
I'll find her. I'll find her.
Put on speaker. Okay. Hey girl. Okay, so tell us who you are, where you're from, how you found us.
I'm Chelsea Marvel. I'm from a very small town in California. It's Eureka. So it's like the most northern you could go before you hit Oregon. And I found you guys from Caroline. I will admit I didn't even question her once. I was like, I'm in. Like, I'm all about it. Tell me more. And that was because I had worked as a surgical assistant for the last 10 years. And it was good money, like great money. I covered everything, even for mother half and our 2-year-old, but I was absolutely miserable. And after my son was born, within 2 months, I had to go back to work, and I was determined to do anything to come home. So I actually planned, I think it was May or June of last year, on saving what I could and just getting a new game plan going, whether it was going to be a full-time student, which I am now, to try and pursue being a surgeon one day. But let's see. Yeah, so I saved and saved and saved. And in September, there was one day where the office manager just belittled me too far to the point that it broke me. And I came home and, well, no, that day I was like, I feel sick. I think I'm gonna take a couple days off. And then I just never went back, which is nothing of my character. But I was like, forget you, I'm done. Like, I literally was like, I was the best thing that ever happened to you guys, because they're and I'm not being egotistical, but I get really into this one. I'm a passionate person. Their turnaround was insane, and I was their longest standing employee, and I had only been there for 2 years because I chose to kind of move up and go to a different level of surgery. And then I quickly realized why. And I was warned by the girls whose position I was taking to never acknowledge that you know more than the office manager, who had only managed a video store her entire life until she got the gig. And so I was like, well, okay, like, I'm all about medicine. And clearly I'm a talker because I've been stuck in the OR for the last 10 years being dead silent, and I got a lot to say because I've learned a lot from lots of my patients. So I've always been about health and wellness. And then, so yeah, I left September 26th, and I prayed and prayed and prayed. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was just going to go back to making tortillas at my aunt's restaurant. Like, I did not know. And so then Caroline messaged me, and I was a little weary, but I was like, I knew I had been praying for something. So I felt like that was my, I don't know what you would call it, like my boom. I don't know, that was like my answer that I needed. And I took it, and I definitely hit the ground running. I went Ruby pretty quick, Emerald the next month, and then last month was definitely my slow one, but I think that was because I had a transition to coming home as a student with a 2-year-old, which left a lot of time. So I've definitely had to work on my time management, and I'm better now. Really ready to go diamond.
Yes. Okay, so you went Emerald in February then.
Yeah, after we came back from the conference.
Yeah, but you were so close to diamond. Like, it's totally happening.
Yeah, and that irks me to another level. So I'm getting it. Like,
yeah. No, absolutely. So you actually came to conference like very last minute with your husband, and you guys were like all in from the beginning. Like, you guys lit a fire under so many of us for sure in the house. But yeah, okay. So you went diamond in February.
Emerald.
Or Emerald. I'm sorry. I'm already saying it. You're going diamond.
Yes, it's happening. Gotta speak it into existence.
Yeah. So give us some of your tips, girl. You're a super loud too, and again, you've just started from the beginning, just head on. So tell us what you're doing. And yeah, you've been a top enroller the last couple months too.
Yeah, which I need to step up my game and be on those posts again. But I have actually a weird one that I wrote down because I took notes before this meeting happened. And it's kind of my version of cold messaging. One time, Caroline sent out in our team chat a little quick script about, hey, thanks for showing love on my post. Are you interested in improving like your health? It was, I don't know, something very brief, which brief, which I should have copied down, but I didn't, but I can send it later to one of you ladies to send to everyone else. And every time someone, aside from Host to Post, every time someone likes that post and it kind of becomes a routine of theirs, I messaging them and they're like, yeah, I was just too nervous to comment on your page, but oh my God, thank you so much for reaching out. And that's how I've gained definitely, I would say, half of the customers that I've gotten so far. And
So by asking.
being, hmm?
So by asking.
Yeah,
What? I'm just kidding.
I figured why not? You keep liking my page, you're liking it for a reason.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And I'm definitely unapologetically myself. I speak with emotion. So in every live, or for the most part, I think I've cried. And I don't know, that's just me. And I definitely get a lot of attentions from the mommies because my ultimate goal was coming home to my son. And going diamond, that'll make me feel more comfortable and secure in doing so.
So you send out these messages and they basically, if anybody likes your post on Instagram or Facebook, you're sending them, hey girl, thanks so much for the love. Are you interested? Type thing.
Yeah. And any no that happens, I turn into a Host to Post. I never take no for an answer.
And so if they say no, what do you say for that?
You're like, all right, well, gosh, what do I say?
Sorry to put you on.
Depending on how the conversation had been going, because usually they'll ask questions, and if it ends with a no, I'll be like, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciated it. By chance, you want to be entered into our drawing that's happening this week or this month, and turn it around that way. And it always becomes a yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then when they do Host to Post, do you follow up with them, or how are you going about that? Your follow up?
Yes, I write everything by months and categorize it by loyal customers, DTs, and potential loyal customers, and I go back to them every couple weeks to a month.
So you guys, she signs her people, what you said, half of them, your distributors, your customers, by asking. I think so many of us are so afraid when you first start to reach out and ask because you don't want a cold message. You don't want to bother somebody. But you never know unless you ask, and it's just a question, right? Like, what's the worst they're going to say is no.
Yeah, you definitely have to get over that fear.
Yeah.
Because you have nothing to lose. Like a no, like, okay, oh, that hurt my feelings, brush it off, keep going. The next person's gonna say yeah. And even if you get that no, you planted a seed and they're gonna come back.
Right.
And that's what I always remind the girls on my team.
Yeah, I think it's hard to see when you're new, for sure. Seeing all those no's, right? But it always means not right now. It never means a no, go away, I hate you, go die, right? It never means that. It just means not right now. Like so many people, you have to follow up with them. Okay, cool. So what else do you do? I know that you told me a few things. So
I definitely get in on my personal power hours. I attempt the weekly ones, and I'm always at trainings. And if I miss them, I'm watching the recordings. For the team itself, to pump them up and get them going, I do little contests, and those are really fun. I kind of got those tips from Caroline and Brittany in your guys' team pages on I just kind of like make a smaller version of it for everybody. So we always do those, and I pray over my team, every single person, and I check in with them. Not always in the business sense, because you can kind of see when someone's quieted down or they just kind of backed off, and so you want to check in, and I always do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We spend so much time loving on them when they're potential, but we can't forget to love on them when they're on our team too. So you do have the biggest heart. Something that I learned about her, we did this game at conference, is every time she hears an ambulance, she just prays over that family for healing. You have a huge heart. Like, you have a huge heart for sure. Okay, so any other last things that you'd like to share with us? Any tips? Anything at all? I mean, you're killing it. I feel like you have so much more that you can give us.
Thank you. Yeah, I have notes. I have lots of notes. I document everything, even like anyone I talked to that was like maybe was minimal or it was just like interaction, like, oh my goodness, your little one's so freaking adorable. Or like I'll just like, comment and get into
How many
someone.
enrollments have you had the last couple months? Oh, is she frozen?
Yeah, she's frozen.
4 distributors with me in total.
Say that again. You froze.
24,
24.
I think.
Yeah.
Like overall in the time.
Yeah, that's amazing. So awesome.
Surprisingly, a lot of them are like a good handful of them are local girls, which kind of like blew me away. So I cannot wait for this COVID thing to be over because we were doing pop-up shops. Emmanuel went and built stuff for me, tables and signs, and I was like, thank you. Like we're going hard when that happens. But I was gonna say I always do I stepped up my game on voice messaging and that really made it more personable. So I think anyone's opportunity to voice message, definitely do so. And even though I sound like a 12-year-old, whatever, people like it, I guess. But I always do the birthday messages every morning. Like that's how I start my power hours, the birthday messaging, because that's you getting into their inbox. And I always get a response and I'm like, oh, hey, well, thanks for, I don't know. I just like turn it into a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I said, I talk too damn much. So
No, by saying happy birthday, you're like building a relationship,
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And I like following up with my customers. Like I've got a lot of additional orders, of course, because of the sell, but I think because they like how I've checked in, or they're like, oh, well, tell me a little bit more. And I sometimes start with a script, but I've done my homework on every single product that it's definitely sounds like me now.
Yeah.
And that makes people more like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the scripts are there to, kind of like an outline for us. We always want to be ourselves, and you do a super good job. So you go live like all the time. So give us some tips and topics that you go live about being newer in the business.
Well, my newest one that I want to do is the video that Christy shared. So I went and I got the ThermoFight X and I think it might have been Carb Control to do that like oil and water thing. But I go live and I feel like that's in a sense, a person's gonna buy you before they buy the product. So they don't just want to keep seeing the post. And initially I started, and when I go back on my profile, I noticed I was really spammy. And so I've just been taking every criticism that comes my way and everything I learned from the trainings and flip it around to only improve.
Yeah. You guys should scroll back to my Instagram 6 years ago. Talk about spammy, but you're so right. People, stories sell, right? Like facts tell, like they tell you things, but stories sell. And when you're sharing your story, you're being yourself. You're putting you out there, and you're being super loud about it, especially when you cry when you're in your live. Like you see how big your heart is. Like I know people see how big it is, and people are so attracted to that. So
Yeah.
don't have to be anybody else, right? Like just be.
I had someone sign because they just said that they loved me, and I was like, oh, you're so cute. Like, and they're like, well, I knew you when you were a little girl, and like you're still that person. My grandma is a big, huge impact of why I am that I am. I say that with tears already. So my faith is strong.
Yeah, that's good. I know it is for sure. I see it. Awesome. Okay, so any last tips, messages for us?
I always love the sign. Well, now it's gonna be boss up. That was super cute, but you have to show up to go up.
Yes, just like you guys are on right now. You are showing up for your business. You're learning. You just gotta take action. Cool. Well, thanks, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay, last up we have Mackenzie. I saw your face. Hi, I see you. Okay, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, tell us who you are. Share with us your story, your journey so far.
Okay, so my name is Mackenzie, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband just recently joined the military, and the reason I'm a stay-at-home mom is for a few reasons. The main reason being that my daughter, my oldest, has Down syndrome. So with that comes, a lot of doctor's appointments and therapies. So it's hard for me to hold down a job without having to call in all the time or to, show up late. Another reason is just because I don't trust anybody with my kids. So that's just the mom in me. I've personally been using the products since November when my husband left for basic. I was like, oh, he's going to be getting into shape. I need to get in shape for my husband. So, he lost all his weight. I've lost a total of 30 pounds so far using our products. And I just fell in love with the products. I got passionate about it and how they made me feel, that I was like, I want to sell these products. I want to help, men and women feel the way that I feel good about themselves, and just spread, that love and that passion with everybody else.
Yes, I love it. So when did you start with us?
I started in January of this year. Ultimately, when I first started, my goal was to go Ruby. And I told myself that if I can make an extra $500 a month just to help my family put into savings, then I would be happy with that. And so I did, and I started in January, like I said, but I was hesitant to start at first. My distributor, or my upline, is Brittany, shout out. And and she asked me, if I wanted to join the business. And I was hesitant at first because I had been with a previous MLM company and I failed for many reasons, but the main one being that I didn't have that support and I didn't have that upline structure. And I was just, tossed aside, and I really just felt like a number to them. So I didn't stay in that business very long at all. And funny story is that when I made my adventure post for this business, they reached out to me and was like, hey, let's get you started again. And I was like, hey, no, thank you. So, so, and I haven't looked back. I'm not going to lie. At first, I was hesitant to message, but I just kind of took off, and I told Brittany that I'm going to jump in, and I just took off running. I sorry, got my notes here. I, joined, and like the next day it was like team training, and then I, took notes, and I wanted to be successful in this business compared to the last one. So I actually Googled like YouTube videos from people in this business and was like, what are they doing? Like, how are they talking to people? Because I was never taught how to talk to people in my other business. So I was like, what are you saying to people? How are they saying? And I just watched like all kinds of videos from uplines in this company, and it really helped. And it just, I stayed close to the fire. It lit my flame. And yeah, so I'm here, I'm showing up, and yeah, I was hesitant to message at first, but now I'm just like,
So you told me that your initial goal was Ruby, right? And here you
ma'am.
are, you just hit Emerald. So tell us how you did that. Let's hear the good. Yeah, you just.
Okay, so I did it one, just by doing the damn thing. Like you guys might hear that all the time, but just doing it and staying with and close to the fire. So staying consistent. People are always watching you, whether you know it or not. Your stories, your likes, your comments, even if they don't, like they're in the shadows watching you. And when you don't show up, they'll notice. Another thing is I am a huge seller of upsell. If you're on my team, I always preach it, upsell, upsell, upsell. And that is how I get the majority of my volume.
So as
for
far as
example-
upsell, I know people are going to ask, what do you message for upsell? Like, how do you do it?
So I was just about to tell you an example. So
Okay,
this is an example I use. Unfortunately, it's 2 for $49, so it's not a good deal, but I do something else for the 2 for $49. But when it's not 2 for $49, I always upsell the Mocha Dream. Regardless of what they bought, I upsell, of course, the products, but then when I get to the end, I upsell the Mocha Dream, and 9 times out of 10, it works. I take a screenshot of it and I say, hey, this is a one-time deal for my new customers. It won't ever be this cheap again. Do you want me to add it on? And like I said, 9 times out of 10, they always do it. Always. And like I said, it doesn't really work right now because of the 2 for $49, but when it's not the 2 for $49, like that's a pretty good deal. And as far as other upselling, I just develop a personal relationship with a lot of my customers. I find that the deeper the connection or the level of friendship I have with them, the more they will buy from me. So a lot of my high volume, like 150 BV or higher, is always because I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm relating to them. I'm having a conversation. I've, been talking to them for maybe a few days or a few weeks. And, we sit there, we chit chat, we get to know each other, and then we talk about the business. For example, excuse me, my last big order that I signed, I talked to her on the phone for an hour, and she bought over 150 BV. And then the next week, she put in another 80 BV order. So it's all about, building those connections. And then I personally, with a lot of my customers, I follow up with them and I send them a message like, hey, how are you doing? How are you enjoying your products? Things like that, making that connection deeper. So then after those 3 months, they don't go away. They're like, okay, I want to stay with this, this girl, like she's amazing. Like, it's not just about here's my product, I want, your business. No, it's about building those connections and actually making a difference in somebody's life. Because if I can make somebody else feel good, then that's making me feel good as a person.
Yes. Amen. And Christy actually just put a comment there. It took you an hour to sign 150 BV on the phone, but here so many of us are trying to just get these orders in, right, with 30 BV, 25 BV. When like, for example, I just signed a loyal customer last week. It was like over 200, and she was somebody that replied to my story about just the Skinny Brew. And then she was a little bit older. She wanted to call me. And so I was like, of course. And so as we were on the phone, then we talk about what are your goals? And then we open up more of the products. And it's huge because people may not know everything that you have, but when you ask and you open it up and you have that conversation, that communication, the connection. Oh, I love that so much because it's 150 BV.
Yeah. Happened to me multiple times.
That's five other LCs, 30 BV, and so it's totally worth it. But sorry, go ahead.
And then another little tip that I have is personal development. Mindset is huge in this business, you guys. I know you've probably heard it bajillions times, but when I first started, I did not believe it at first. I was like, what's personal development? Like, this has got to be a joke. I don't need personal development. Like, who is she? I don't even know. I thought it would be a waste of my time. So I really reevaluated myself after I fell short of diamond last month. I was really close, and I just kind of had to take a step back and was like, okay, what do I need to do different this month? And, I asked my team personally, I said, girls, what are we doing this month if we missed our goal? So I knew some things had to change. So starting this month, we have been doing 6 a.m. power hours. So, no, it's not my cup of tea, but it does help when you have 2 kids. And I also started working out with Brittany. So that's another thing. I have not worked out in a few months. I usually just go walking, but we're actually doing like working out stuff. And then I'm taking personal development more seriously, as far as meaning that I'm actually sitting there listening with intent. I'm not, on my phone during the time. I'm not talking to somebody else. I'm sitting there and I'm listening. I personally listen to Empower Her podcast. And I really love it because there's tons of episodes, I guess that's what they're called. And, sometimes we share them in our group chat about like which ones hit close to home with us that day. So I started taking that more seriously. And also back in January, I did buy the book of the month, Atomic Habits. I still have not finished it, but I'm reading it every chance that I get. And it is so good. Also, I've heard Girl Wash Your Face is good. Girl Wash Your Face is good, and Beach Money. So those are a few that are on my list. And then another tip that I've been doing from the beginning is I pray. I pray over my girls. I pray over our business, friends, family. And I do it because it brings me peace. It brings me joy. And I do it because God has blessed me with an amazing team, with an amazing upline. And it's just something that I feel like I do also because it allows me to talk to my grandma. And I feel like if we pray and we ask, we shall receive. So, and I know that God does not give us more than we can handle. So, you know, I tell God that I'm ready for this. I'm ready for a big team. I'm ready to go to the top. I'm ready to handle with all the stress. And so that's what I feel like he's doing. So another thing is when I was talking to Brittany the other day, I told her that I feel like, I had my aha moment. And if a lot of you guys don't know yet, your aha moment is when you're in this business and you're just like, you know, and it finally clicks. It finally is like, you feel good. You feel like things are coming. You feel on top of the world, like everything's just falling into place. And, you know, you're like, okay, I can do this. God's blessing me. And I told Brittany that the other day, and I was like, I feel it. I have it. I'm ready to go for it. And I told her, I said, good things are coming. I was like, I can feel it in my soul. Good things are coming. I can't explain it, but I just know it's coming. And so yeah, so that was kind of like my little aha moments. Sorry, I have a lot of tips, you guys. And then, like Kimmy said, be a product of the products. I love this. Like I said, I've been using the product since November and I've lost 30 pounds. And I use our hair, skin, and nails. And literally, you guys, like my hair was up to here when I started. And I've been using it for like 2 or 3 months now. So my hair's grown a whole bunch. I use our Keto Coffee Green Super Reds Immunity, like all the things, you guys. I pretty much use a lot of, like all of our products. And why do you want to be a product of the products? Because when I send, for example, when I send people my results, they're like, boom, let's go. When I tell people I've lost 20 to 30 pounds, they're like, yes, girl, sign me up. Like the LC I signed yesterday, I told her, yeah, I've lost 30 pounds. She's like, okay, let's go. 2 pick 2s right there, you know? So it's just a way to boost your business. And when people see that you're using the products, they're going to trust you. They're going to trust in the products because ultimately, if somebody's going to become a customer for you, they're going to do it because they trust you. They're buying from you. They're not buying from the company. That's the difference. So you got to put on a good, not a show, but you got to put on yourself and be like, this is what the products have done for me. And this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. And exactly, Julia, you are the brand. So you got to represent your brand, represent yourself. And that's what I try to do every day with myself and with my team. And then last thing for all you newbies, share your wins. Share them, no matter how big or how small. Now, I say this because when I first started, I was like, I have nothing. I was like, I don't have, like, I haven't bought a house or haven't bought a car like some that you see some uplines doing. But you know what? When I first started, I bought groceries. I bought diapers. I bought gas. And then when I got to Ruby, I bought furniture, so it just keeps going up. And you have to share those wins, because if you don't, then people are going to be like, it's not working. It's not working, because it is. But because you're not sharing those big wins, people aren't going to think. Like, a big win for me, hell yeah, is buying diapers. You know how expensive diapers are? Come on now, with 2 babies and diapers, that's expensive. So yeah, so that's just kind of like my last little my little tip is share your wins. That is always a good thing. People love to eat it up.
Yes. Okay. I think we can end that right there. I don't know about you, but I felt like that is a future. I mean, you're all future ambassadors, but like she's ready. Like she's ready. Mackenzie, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're awesome. I'm so glad I finally kind of met you. All you girls, like you're amazing. Yeah. So, have there been any questions? It's basically 8:00. You guys are awesome. I know you're going diamond, and if you guys are on here and you're thinking like, I can actually do this. Like, if you're feeling a fire, get off this and go send a message. Go send 10 messages. Go do something that you normally wouldn't do because what you learned tonight. I promise it's worth it. Getting out of your comfort zone, growing, and making a lot of money. I promise it will be so worth it. So, Christy, you want to end it?
I was just going to say two things. So you guys, you've heard a lot of these people say power hours. Power Hours keeps you guys accountable to each other. I know everybody's got multiple ones. I've tried to combine some of them, but there's a list of them in everyone's team page, and they're just awesome because it kind of just is like, it's like a mini one of these, but you guys get to work together. And especially when you do it super early in the morning, that is what makes it so that you're already accomplished. You're already accomplished, and it is only 7 a.m. You guys, your work is done an hour already by 7 a.m. So that's huge. And then what she was sharing about sharing your wins, you guys, those countdowns on stories, on posts, every single time that you sign something or you're about to sign something, you need to be shouting it out because people want to be a part of something that is happening right before them, right? Like they'll join your team once you are a diamond, but they really want to join your team before you're a diamond because they want to be a part of your diamond team, right? So like you just have to be loud about those goals. Just that's why people love those like the countdowns, you know, like the 2 for 49, 10 spots, filling it in. All I'm doing now, you guys, is literally sharing one results photo, putting one name on the countdown, and showing the picture of the products for the 2 for 49. And now I've had a customer sign up every single time I post that. That's it. That's all I need to see is that other people are getting the products too. That's all I need to see. So it's kind of the same thing, but yeah, that's it.
I know. So awesome. All right.
All right, guys. Happy Monday. We'll see you later. Bye.